Even though it's a virtual event, it is our tradition to remember God is mighty before starting this event. So let us begin by seeking blessings of God. I would like to invite Ms. Shiti Nayak to lead the prayer.
वक्रतुण्ड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा शुभकार्येषु सर्वदा या कुन्देन्दुतुषारहारधवला या शुभवस्त्रावृता या वीणावरदण्डमण्डितकरा या श्वेतपद्मासना या ब्रह्माच्युतशङ्कर प्रभृतिभिः दैवैः सदा वन्दिता सा मां पातु सरस्वती भगवती निःशेषजाड्यापहा निःशेषजाड्यापहा.
Thank you, Kshiti, for creating such pleasant atmosphere around. Now, I would like to welcome the HOD of the pharmacy practice, Dr. Sandeep Kumar Bhatt, sir. Sir has done his BPharm from North Gujarat University, Patan, Gujarat. MPharm from Dr. MGR Medical University, Chennai and Tamil Nadu, and PhD from Jodhpur National University, Jodhpur, Rajasthan. Sir has joined KBIPER in year 2011 in Department of Pharmacology and Clinical Pharmacy. Sir is actively involved in teaching, learning, research, academic and extension service of PharmD, UG and PG programs. Sir is the member of the Association of Pharmaceutical Teachers of India, APTI, and also he has lifetime membership of Indian Hospital Pharmacist. Sir is the member of the Institution Review Board, KBIPER, and has published total 25 publications. Sir is now requested to come and address the audience.
Good morning. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. You are audible,
So,
sir.
thank you. Respected guest, Dr. Mira Madam, dearest faculties, and all the budding pharmacists. If you look at the societal pattern, then each one is expert on specific knowledge, specific skill. Based on their knowledge, based on their skill, they are serving to the society. If they are belongs to medical fraternity, then doctors from the society for the society. If they are the lawyers on the ground of law, they are from the society for the society. The same way, pharmacist is too. On the knowledge of skill of medicine, use of a medicine at patient level from the society for the society. In this context, pharmacists merely become a first point of contact for any patient, any civilians in context of medicine when it matters in society at community level or at medicine consumption level. Since its inceptions, pharmacists and pharmacy is considered as pious and noble profession. Noble profession. Somehow, it's required to conquer, it's required to appreciate, require to present accolades, platforms, stands are required to motivate, to gather, celebrate, and most precisely, to recognize the role of a pharmacist in society. Numbers of organizations, numbers of institutions come up with philosophy to recognize, to flourish, to appreciate one of the contributor in healthcare, that is pharmacist, by many means. And one of the mean that over the globe is the celebration of a World Pharmacist Day. Pharmacist in many a glance, performing many tasks, contributing healthcare by performing many responsibilities and functions. Literally, literaturely, experientially, it is proved that pharmacist is one of the organ, one of the professional, one of the block performer of the society. Let's not forget the contribution of a pharmacist in the society to pave a value, recognition, importance, motivation. KBIPER ISPOR student chapters harmonize and organize this event towards the motivation of a budding pharmacist, especially recognition of a pharmacist. World Pharmacist Day is planned and going to celebrate successfully. Coming generation required a strengthening, required an association, required a propulsion, emulsion, amalgamation of many concepts which required hands in hands. Isolation from mainstream, isolation from professional stream cannot be a solution, requiring a hands in hands motivation, and henceforth this platform celebration has been arranged for the motivation of a budding pharmacist. At this celebration of World Pharmacist Day, I appreciate and welcome the celebration, open it, and forwarding my best wishes to all the budding pharmacists, not for the short future, but endeavors too. Let's hands in hands for betterment of a future, betterment of a society. Let's come together and celebrate World Pharmacist Day in the welfare of not only the pharmacy as a profession, but as a unique profession towards the mankind and civilization. With this, I summed up, forwarding best wishes. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your motivating and extremely informative guidance. We are so honored and privileged to have you here, sir. Now, moving forward, I am profusely elated to take this opportunity to introduce our Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. Mira Desai, ma'am. Ma'am has the degree of MBBS and MD. She has total 3 years of experience at Ahmedabad Civil Hospital as IEC coordinator in Department of Clinical Research. Ma'am had also been a senior resident at University Teaching Hospital in Zambia. She currently works at Department of Pharmacology in Nootan Medical College and Research Center. She does research in clinical pharmacology, clinical trials, research ethics, and medical education. Ma'am has done total 73 researches and 4 projects. Her current project is pharmacovigilance. A very warm welcome to you, ma'am. I would like to invite you to kindly share your views with the rest of us.
Ma'am, unmute yourself, ma'am. You're muted.
Yeah. Thank you very much, the young girl, for this brief, sweet introduction. And a very good morning to one and all, dear students, the faculty members, Dr. Sandeep Bhai, Dr. Deshpande for this organizing this students chapter celebration on the World Pharmacist Day. I really appreciate the vision, the enthusiasm of the young pharmacist, the future pharmacist of this country, as well as the faculty members of KBIPER. It's really my pleasure to be a part of this celebration. And as soon as I received a phone call from Dr. Sandeep Bhai, I have been associated with him for quite a long time, and it's a wonderful association. I really appreciate his enthusiasm and the qualities as a very good teacher, an excellent teacher, I would say. So I immediately accepted, and the theme which he put forward, that we are celebrating the World Pharmacist Day, so what can be the best session, a brief sort of a lecture for the students of Pharm D, M-Pharm, and we recently, you all know that we recently concluded the Patient Safety Week, and this is the one which came to our mind as per the discussion, that let's have a brief introduction on pharmacovigilance. So friends, we are going to talk about the pharmacovigilance, a very basic aspect of pharmacovigilance. Many of you, after your graduation, after your post-graduation, will be joining either academics or industry. And now pharmacovigilance, is an essential at each level. So I hope this session will be very useful to you, will sensitize you, will make you aware about what is happening in pharmacovigilance across the country, as well as at the international platform. So I think with this brief introduction, may I start the session? Can you, you will have to, hello, can I start my session?
Yes, madam, pretty sure.
Okay.
It will be our pleasure, sir, madam.
Okay. Can you see the slide? You'll have to, I think I'll have to share the slide.
Yes, yes, madam.
Yeah, ma'am, can you share your screen? So. Yes, ma'am, your screen is visible.
Can you see the slide?
Yes, ma'am, it's opening.
Can you see the slide?
Actually, it's not visible. Actually. Yeah, now it's visible. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Now we can see slides.
How about, means all of you can see?
Yes, ma'am. Everyone
Okay.
can see now.
Sure.
It's visible. Okay,
so, friends, we are going to share about the scope of pharmacovigilance and ADR reporting. I have been associated with pharmacovigilance program for last 2 decades. And what has happened in this program, I'm going to share, and what is the current position. So this will be the outline of my presentation. What, why, how about pharmacovigilance? What is need to monitor adverse drug reactions in India? What are the international and national measures for drug safety? The functioning, current status, and impact of pharmacovigilance program of India. Now, let me give you a brief background. You all know about phocomelia and the thalidomide tragedy. And this happened somewhere around before 6 decades. So what actually happened? And who was the first person who noticed about this abnormal congenital abnormality. It was a vigilant clinician, a physician, which is known as a McBride. You can see his name, McBride. He was a physician practicing in Australia, and he noticed that many of his patients, they were delivering babies with this abnormal limbs. So he wrote a letter to the journal Lancet on December 16, 1961, that he is observing this type of abnormalities. The pregnant mothers are delivering the babies with this abnormality. So whether the journal has been receiving these type of abnormal reports, because in 1960s, there was nothing like Google and the social media. And the journals were hard copies and they were not accessible so easily. So he wrote a letter to the editor that there are patients who have been consuming thalidomide and they are delivering. So whether the journal is receiving these type of reports. So this was an alert. What I'm trying to convey is it was an alert physician who noticed this abnormality, and he tried to associate with the patients who consumed thalidomide in the pregnancy. And 50 years down the line, the maker of thalidomide, it was a German company known as Grünenthal, they issued a public apology in 2012 to all these patients who are born with this congenital abnormality, and many of them are still surviving. And they publicly apologized for manufacturing this thalidomide drug, which was prescribed because in those days, there was nothing like drug safety and the regulations were very, very poor. Now, the story does not end with thalidomide. Even after this, there are reports that around 3 to 4% of the drugs which are approved, they are made available in the market for consumption and prescription. Around 3 to 4% of these drugs are withdrawn because of the safety issues. A very recent article in BMC Medicine has already published that around 462 medicines were withdrawn due to adverse drug reaction from 1950s to 2014. So the story still continues. Maybe the rate is less, but the drug withdrawal continues even in spite of these issues which were discovered with thalidomide. Even US FDA has issued notice that around 6% of the drugs were withdrawn due to safety reasons from 2006 to 2015. So this, indicates that even when the drugs are available in the market, which are to be used by the patient and prescribed by the physician, there are issues of drug safety. And so the adverse drug reactions or the safety issues associated with drugs have always been the breaking news. And we know that even in India, there are reports of drugs being withdrawn because of the safety issues. From 2010, it was getafloxacin, nimesulide because of hepatotoxicity, sibutramine because of cardiotoxicity, pioglitazone associated with bladder cancer. So what I'm trying to convey is the safety issues associated with the drug, the adverse reactions, they are being sensational and they still continues to be an issue for all of us. So with this background, let's start talking about pharmacovigilance. What is pharmacovigilance? Pharmacon, it's a drug, and vigilare means to keep watch. So the science and regulation of drug safety in real world conditions, that is pharmacovigilance. And it is identifying new information about the hazards associated with medicines, preventing harm to patients. And as WHO defines pharmacovigilance, it's a science and activities related to detection, assessment, understanding, and prevention of adverse effect or other drug-related problems. What is the objective of pharmacovigilance? We need to identify the new signals with the reported cases, the adverse drug reaction reports which are submitted by the healthcare professional. From these reports, we need to identify the signals, and we need to, after that, we need to assess the benefit and risk that is done by the pharmacologist. And based on these benefit risk assessment, we need to generate an evidence upon the reports, and the decisions will be taken by the regulatory authorities whether the drug should be continued available in the market or should be revised with some change in the prescription alerts, or some information should be communicated to the prescribers as well as the patients, and to the drug manufacturer whether they should be revising their package insert, and the last resort is to drug recall. And this is the last thing. See, I just want to make sure that the objective of the pharmacovigilance is not to withdraw the drug. That is the last step to be done, but to identify the safety issues associated with the drug. And when the risk is to such an extent that the public health is at stake, that is the last step, is to withdraw the drug. Now, who are the stakeholders for pharmacovigilance? Obviously, the healthcare professionals, the regulatory authorities, the pharmaceutical industry, and the marketing authorization holders, MAH, and also the consumers and general public and the media. They all become the important stakeholders. With this, let's try to find out what is the need of pharmacovigilance, because each drug undergoes clinical trial. We know that. In spite of that, what is the need of pharmacovigilance? Friends, we know that the drug development process is a very complex, lengthy, expensive, highly technical process. And it starts from the lab identifying the drug molecule and then subjecting it to the animal studies, preclinical development. And once the molecule is found to be useful, it is subjected to clinical trials, and in extensive clinical trials, the drug gets the regulatory approval, and then it is made available for the general public. So in spite of all these expensive, long process, which may be, I think, a drug molecule, almost it takes 20 years for a molecule to get entry into the market. However, we all know that there are limitations, there are problems associated with animal studies. And the history says, we have evidence that when the drug, there is no risk associated found in animal studies, but it was found to be risky in human beings. On the other hand, the molecules which were found to be risky, there were some safety issues identified in animals, but no risk in the human beings. So what I'm trying to convey here, it is extremely difficult to extrapolate the results which are obtained from the animal studies to the human beings. And even in the different phases of the clinical drug development, at each phase, you can see the safety is a primary objective. Our concern is, and although at each phase, the protocol, the study design, the strategies and the action is to minimize the risk. And at each phase, the drug is approved considering the safety, and then finally the approval is given and the drug enters in the post-marketing. However, there are limitations of clinical trials, the clinical studies. They are done on the limited number of patients. They do not reflect the use of medicines in the real life situation, and the rare but serious chronic ADAs which will not be observed. Mostly in clinical trials, the adverse reactions, which are 1 in 100, 1 in 200, which will be observed. But the reactions which will happen in 1 in 1,000, 1 in 10,000 will not be observed. And Not only that, the selection of the patients in the clinical trial, it is very, limited. They should be absolutely not having concomitant medications, comorbidities. So there are limitations of concomitant therapies. Patient populations like elderly, pediatric patients, pregnant patients, they are never selected in clinical trial. And that is why post-marketing surveillance is extremely important. And so the clinical phase of the drug development continues even after getting the marketing approval. And one of that is pharmacovigilance. Now, pharmacovigilance is more than adverse reactions. What is also done in pharmacovigilance is what are the problems which are related to the medicine use, especially the prescription issues, dispensing issues, compliance, misuse of drugs, quality issues, substandard drugs, counterfeit drugs. What happens when the drug is given to the mass medication, especially need to have the real-time monitoring of the safety issues, especially with the vaccine. And antimicrobial resistance is also a part of pharmacovigilance. However, the core activity is to identify the adverse reactions related to medicines which are not known at the time of approval. Secondly, to refine the knowledge of already known adverse drug reaction. And thirdly, to understand the conditions enabling the safer use of medicines. And this is done especially under pharmacovigilance, the causality assessment, the factors leading to increased risk, and finally, the signal detection. Now with this, what is the need to monitor adverse reaction in India? India is a unique country, we know. Our country is unique by all means. So what is the specially need to monitor the adverse reaction in India? We all know that India is the third largest producer of pharmaceutical formulations, more than 1 lakh. Many of these formulations, there are look-alike, sound-alike drug. And there are many of these drugs, there are misleading brand names, inadequately labeled, which are likely to cause prescription error. And we also know that on an average, 5 to 10 medicines are prescribed per prescription. Moreover, the prescription medicines are available without prescription. There are OTC medications, but even prescription medications are available like prescription. This is a bitter fact about our country. Further, 45 to 70% of our population is iron deficient. More than 50% of the children are malnourished. Our patients, the consumers, they follow several systems of medicines at a time. And all these systems, the over and above the modern medicines, they are freely available in the country. And the consumers, they follow these several systems of medicines. They will take modern medicines as well as the other alternative system of medicine at a time. We do not know what is the interactions between this. There are very few studies which are available. Moreover, self-medication is extremely common, and there is a lot of regional, ethnic, genetic, environmental variations. Further, as per the new drugs and clinical trial rules of 2019, it is mandatory for the pharmaceutical industry to report periodic safety update reports to the regulatory authority. It is an obligation. Pharmacovigilance is an obligation of pharmaceutical companies. And now today, most of the pharmaceutical industry, they have a separate pharmacovigilance section, a department. And subsequent to approval of the product, the new drug should be closely monitored for the clinical safety once they are marketed, and that is in the form of periodic safety update reports. So for each drug, as per the definition, The industry will submit PSUR, but what about after 4 years? The obligation is on all of us, all the healthcare professionals. So after this, what should be reported? That is an important question. Adverse events, adverse drug reactions, any therapeutic failures, the event that required intervention should also be reported. A very common question, especially when I talk with the doctors, that what should be reported? Most of the patients will have nausea, vomiting, skin rashes, diarrhea. What should be reported? And the answer is anything which bothers the healthcare professional should be reported. Don't worry about whether this is an adverse reaction or not. Anything that bothers should be reported. That should be the bottom line. So let's try to find out now some of the common terminologies of pharmacovigilance. What is an adverse event? An unfavorable, unintended sign, which includes an abnormal symptom, a disease, or abnormal lab finding. For example, a simple change in the hemoglobin, which should be to such an extent which leads to dose reduction or discontinuation of the drug or requires some kind of an intervention, which is temporarily associated with the use of the drug. However, it does not necessarily have a relationship, and that is an adverse event. While what is an adverse drug reaction? As WHO defines, it's a response to a drug which is noxious, which is unintended, which occurs at the doses which is normally used for prophylaxis, diagnosis, or therapy of a disease or for modification of a physiological function. That is an adverse drug reaction. So what is the difference actually between adverse event and adverse drug reaction? And as this figure, this slide indicates, adverse event, there is a wider perspective. It can be due to multiple reasons. It can be disease, it can be because of the genetic factor, there can be some other drugs, there can be compliance, it can be environmental, diets, or there can be so many other reasons that leads to adverse event. The events not attributed to the drug. While a part of adverse event is an adverse drug reaction, where this event is attributed to a drug. What I'm trying to convey here is adverse event may not be, there is a no causal association. While an adverse drug reaction, a causal association is suspected. As indicated in this slide, adverse event does not imply causality. While an adverse drug reaction, a causal role is suspected. Adverse event have a wide reasons. There are multiple factors for adverse event. A part of adverse event is an adverse drug reaction. Now, how to monitor these adverse reactions? There are different methods. Because of the time constraint, we cannot discuss about the different methods to monitor adverse reaction. But a very common method which is used across the world by the pharmacovigilance program of different countries, including our pharmacovigilance program of India, is a spontaneous reporting system that is known as SRS. And this is a passive surveillance method. There can also be targeted spontaneous reporting. That means you target a drug that, let's say, one of the antiretroviral drug like tenofovir. So all the patients who are taking tenofovir are, observed for adverse reaction. So this is a very strong, powerful method which is used across the world by different pharmacovigilance program. And this particular passive surveillance of adverse reaction, the history has given us that it is an important source of evidence for adverse reactions, even once the drug is given marketing approval. For example, fluoxetine, cisapride, bupropion, cerebastatin, there were reports which were adverse reactions which are associated with these drugs were reported by the spontaneous reporting system, and that resulted into a significant regulatory changes. So this method, although this method has its own advantages, its own limitations, but this is the one important method which needs to be followed. With this, let's try to find out what is happening at the international level for this pharmacovigilance program. There is a WHO program for international drug monitoring, which is known as PIDM. The objective of this program is to collaborate in monitoring of drug safety, identification and analysis of the new ADR signals from the data which is submitted by individual case safety reports by the different countries. And this is Uppsala. It is this is the Uppsala Monitoring Center. That is the main coordinating center for this international drug monitoring program. And currently, there are 148 countries who are members of this PIDM, this international drug safety monitoring program. India joined this WHO's pharmacovigilance program way back in 1997. The current program of pharmacovigilance in the country was started in 2010, and that is what we are going to discuss. And this is the structure of the pharmacovigilance program of India. As you can see, there is a National Pharmacovigilance Program of India. The headquarter is Central Drug Standard Control Organization under Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. That is the headquarter. And the National Coordinating Center is IPC, Indian Pharmacopoeia Commission, Ghaziabad. Under this National Pharmacovigilance program, the coordinating center, there are several AMC, that is ADR Monitoring Center. And these ADR monitoring centers are located in various medical colleges, various corporate hospitals, at a tertiary care center, the civil hospitals. So there are more than 300 ADR monitoring centers. And under this program, there are various committees who are taking the policy decisions. And one of them is a signal review panel. I am also a member of the signal review panel. The core training panel, that is, I am also a member of this core training panel, and they are doing an excellent work, especially training the pharmacovigilance professionals, training the AMC coordinators, and identifying the signals, as well as there is also a quality review panel. And all these, as I said, they are MCI approved medical colleges, private hospitals, public health programs, and autonomic institutes like ICMR. As I said, these ADR monitoring centers in India, as you can see, there is an exponential growth. The number of centers have increased tremendously. You can see there are 395 AMCs across India, and India became a permanent member of WHO PIDM in the year 1998. Now, what are the tools to report adverse drug reaction? How you should report it? This is actually the ground level work which we all need to do, whether you are a pharmacist or whether you are a pharmacologist or whether you are a physiotherapist or a dentist or any healthcare professional, including the consumers, can report. See, this is the level of ADR reporting. The first and foremost thing is there is a mobile app you have to download, and especially for the busy clinicians, they can report the adverse reaction directly to the National Coordinating Center. There is a mobile application. There is also a toll-free number which is available from Monday to Friday. You can see this is the toll-free number, so anybody can report. This is again a helpline also, reporting. And we do have, consumers, patients, as well as healthcare professionals. They can directly, and they are reporting. We have a dedicated ADR reporting form, and this is also known as an individual case safety report. And this is specially used by all the ADR monitoring centers and at the medical colleges as well as the various hospitals. So this is what I was talking about, the ADR reporting form. You can see this is for the healthcare professional. We also have the medicine side effect reporting form for the consumers, and you will be, surprised to know that there are these consumer reporting form has been translated in 10 regional languages, as mentioned here. And this is to facilitate the reporting ADR reports even for the consumer, and this is really worth appreciating. In the difficult times of last 2 years, which we have been experiencing of pandemic, you'll be also surprised to know that we also have an ADR reporting form for COVID-19. Just remember that what happened, especially in 2020, when we all were caught unaware about what is the actual treatment for COVID-19. Just think about what was happening in March 2020. There was a lot of, hustle bustle. People were thinking about hydroxychloroquine, and remdesivir came much later. But there were many drugs which were repurposed. So now, what is actually the adverse reaction or safety issues associated with these drugs were not known. So a special ADR form was generated, and it is still available for COVID-19 drugs. This is specially for COVID-19, and that was, prepared. I was also a part of this. So this was actually issued, and it is still available for healthcare professionals. Now, we also need to understand that how the system works. Suppose you, as a pharmacist, you have observed an adverse reaction, how it will work, how it should reach, or how important it is for you to report, and what is going to happen with your ADR report. The first and foremost thing is the interaction, very close interaction with the healthcare professional, with the patient, who suspects an adverse event or an adverse drug reaction. The first and foremost thing, the healthcare professional will report the adverse reaction and adverse event to the nearest ADR monitoring center. The ADR monitoring center will check its validity of the individual case safety report. And there are certain elements which are essential. I'm not going to share because of the time constraint, but we may have in future that what are the essential elements of this ICSR. Unless you have filled up, otherwise the form will not be accepted by the AMC. Once the AMC ADR monitoring center checks the validity, it is submitted to an online platform which is known as VGFlow. This is a software, and this software is given to all the ADR monitoring center with a special password protection. And the AMC submits your details of ICSR, that is form, suspected form, to the National Coordinating Center, IPC. So you can imagine that this National Coordinating Center is receiving all these reports from 395 centers across the country, the headquarters. They have a dedicated department and the team members who will analyze these ADR forms, and then they will submit to the international WHO UMC database. They will upload it to the international center. Again, at Uppsala Monitoring Center, which is an international coordinating center, they have a dedicated team of pharmacologists, biostatisticians, pharmacists, and whatnot. They will analyze this global, because now they are receiving all these ADR reports across the world from 148 countries. So they have a huge data of millions of ADR reports. They analyze this global ICSR and they identify the risk associated. What are the issues? Especially these issues can be some advantage, can be associated with the public health risk, and they generate the information and share the information with the global healthcare community. And that's how we come to know that certain drug, there are some safety issues, should be withdrawn, or there should be limitations on the prescriptions, or there can be difference in the dose, or certain group of patients should not be prescribed. And this is how the whole system works. What I'm trying to convey here is each and every report submitted by you will be checked, is important, and you become a part of the national and international database. The only thing is it has to be valid and complete with the quality information. And you can see what is the contribution of our country to the international WHO VG base. And you can see there is an exponential growth of ICSR. The total ICSR submitted to the international program till date is around, this is the huge figure. And this is of, I'm talking about 2021, which is, up to the latest date. And India's contribution is around 1.8% to the WHO Global Safety Database. So what is the status of our country? If you compare with the rest of the countries, USA, Korea, China, UK, Germany, India stands 9th rank. And this is a very latest information. And we have a long way to go. We are proud of this, definitely. India is doing really good job. But there is a long way to go. What about the quality of reports which are submitted to WHO UMC? And you can see that this is an average score. See, this is automatically generated by the software. And the quality information which goes from each and every center that is analyzed based on the completeness and the quality. And India, this is the blue line, which determines the quality of report. You can see that this is an average 0.5. And this is average what other countries are reported, and India is doing much better. The completeness score is somewhere around 0.88. And this really makes us proud. However, we have a long way to go. We can still improve upon with these type of training program, with these type of a capacity building. I think we can still move ahead. One important association or important achievement, I can say, of this pharmacovigilance program is done in India is an integration with the public health program. You all must be aware about the various public health programs, like for tuberculosis, for HIV, for vaccine also there are various immunization program. So even for this pharmacovigilance program is integrated with the various public health program, with the National Tuberculosis Elimination Program, National AIDS Control Organization for HIV, National Vector-Borne Disease, as well as a universal immunization program. And here I would like to share that because I was also a part of this integration of the National TB program, the new drug bedaquiline, which was introduced in our country, it is actually because of the integration of the pharmacovigilance program was with the TB program, and the bedaquiline, there was a cohort event monitoring, active surveillance was done in 6 centers. I was one of the center, and because of the safety monitoring, the drug is now available for these drug-resistant tuberculosis patients, TB patients in our country. So this program, because of the integration, has really done a lot of work, and there is a significant achievement. As I said earlier, that pharmacovigilance is now mandatory requirement to the drug manufacturer and importers. They have to have a pharmacovigilance cell in their organization. Further, you should actually go to the IPC website. Many of the students will be interested that just log into the IPC website, and they organize these type of a training program, especially for pharmacovigilance, the young pharmacist as well as pharmacovigilance associate. We do have the training program as well as the skill development program. The next program, skill development, is in November. You can enroll upon, and it's an extensive program of around 5 days, and you will really come to know a lot of, it's a good training, and especially all the technical aspects of pharmacovigilance. And it is really worth getting training from that. Moreover, the pharmacovigilance program, a part of it is also hemovigilance program. This was started in December 2012, and it is associated with the National Institute of Biologicals. And this is especially hemovigilance, means it is a monitoring, safety monitoring of the blood and the blood products. And we have also worked in this hemovigilance program. From 2018, there is also materiovigilance. Look at this, the way the program is going forward. Materiovigilance, this is for the medical devices, for all implants, cardiac stents, all the, various implants which are used in the dental practice, orthopedic practice, cardiac patients. These devices are also monitored for safety issues. A lot of work is going on across the country. These are some of the important communications and the resource material. The IPC, especially PVPI, regularly comes out with the annual progress report. There are quarterly newsletters which are published, guidance document for even the marketing authorization holders, the quality manual, and these are actually available in public domain. Please visit IPC website. So now, with this background about the pharmacovigilance program, the time is, let's find out what is the impact, what we have done. Many of them I have already shared so far. But let's try to find out what is the impact of this program. There are 125 drug safety alerts are generated. 50 of the package inserts, they are updated. What does it mean? The drug which was already approved, the package insert was already marketed, and it is a PVPI. We identified that there are safety issues which are not incorporated in the package insert. So it was advised to the marketing authorization as well as the regulatory, and the regulatory advised the pharma company to update this package insert. And this is, I think it's not a small number. And so far, we have generated 7 signals, and this is, I think, a significant number. And these are the details of the signal: cefixime, furoxamide, itraconazole, and they are also shared with WHO. Lithium carbonate, some of them are still under consideration, like tinidazole and oseltamivir. So these are significant several signals which are generated. How the signal review committee works, once the signal is identified, it is forwarded to the regulatory authority, and the regulatory authority, CDSCO, they work on it, they deliberate on it, and they approve the signal, and then subsequent action is taken. Yes, this is again a very important impact of PVPI, that India has become the first WHO collaborating center for pharmacovigilance in public health program and the regulatory service in Southeast Asia from July 2017. And this is quite, very significant achievement. Moreover, whatever is actually we have achieved as a pharmacovigilance program, The achievements are regularly shared globally by WHO and UMC publication, and they appear even in the WHO newsletters. You can see that WHO, and this is also, I would like to stress upon this to all the students, that you should go and actually, search for these WHO pharmaceutical newsletters, which are available online in public domain. And you will come to know a lot of safety issues which are identified by the different countries. And you can see that many of the drug safety issues which are reported by PVPI, they are also being acknowledged and they appear in WHO newsletter. You can see the SJ syndrome, the risk which are TEN, the risk of DRESS syndrome. These are some serious dermatological reactions, the risk of hiccups, palpitations, urticaria associated with these drugs. They are also appearing in WHO newsletter, and this is something, make us all proud. However, so far we talked about all the challenges, all the achievements, but I think there are challenges, and what is the way forward? Let's try to find out. The greatest challenge, what I can see for this pharmacovigilance program, is it depends upon the initiative, motivation, and contribution by the healthcare professional, all of us. Because so far, I think we have been doing good job, but still there is a scope of improvement. It's a teamwork. If we do not submit the ADR reports, nothing can be done. We have to get motivated and we have to continue contributing for this program. And because it depends upon the motivation and contribution by the healthcare professionals, it suffers from poor quantity, or what I can say is underreporting. And there are numerous publications that still ADR is underreported. Even I feel the global ADR reporting rate is 5%. Our contribution, India's contribution, is only 1.8%, which is less as compared to, look at our hospitals, they are flooded with patients. Look at our market, it is flooded with the number of formulations and the drugs which are available. So if you really compare to the number of patients, to the number of drugs which are consumed, which are available in the market, India's contribution is still less, which can be further improved. This can be, there are adverse reactions happening, but maybe they are not reported. And these are some of the publications which I have already, gone through, that still the contribution is less. So what is the way forward? The program has to be self-sustained and robust. And this requires strong political will, support, and funds. We need to strengthen an expansion of pharmacovigilance activities to the district level hospital, PHC, corporate hospitals, private sector. So far, the private sector is less. Most of this is the government under the public sector. The multiple health tier system in India, our health system is very different. Unlike UK, they all are under the government, but our system is very different. We need to expand our program even to the remote place. We need to build our capacity building, and especially this type of training program definitely helps, and mandatory reporting. So far, the ADR reporting is voluntary. It depends upon the motivation, contribution of the healthcare professional. It is not mandatory, unlike in certain countries in the world. In UK, it is mandatory, but it has to be mandatory even by the pharmaceutical industry and the marketing authorization holders. So there has to be structured collaboration between all stakeholders. It will strengthen the agenda of patient safety in India, which will be in line with the WHO's third global patient safety challenge, that is medicines without harm. That is the theme. And we need to work for this theme right now. And definitely, if we all join hands definitely we can work for a common cause to ensure safety of medicines. Hence, to conclude, the horizons of pharmacovigilance has been expanded to vaccines, blood products, medical devices, and integrated with public health program. The pharmacovigilance program has made significant contribution and impact at the international level. Further expansion of the program and capacity building in coming years will further strengthen the cause of medicine safety in the country. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for enlightening us with such useful information on adverse drug reaction reporting. We are grateful for the time and effort you took to share your thoughts with us. I would like to invite Dr. Sandeep Kumar Bhatt sir to present the e-certificate to Dr. Mira Desai ma'am as a token of appreciation.
It is well said in Gujarati, wherever we are traveling something on road, that it is written fantastically. Saudhani hati durghatna ghati. If the message we are taking it into the medicine, then medicines are two-edged swords. They are having as effects, side effects, and bad effects too. And being as a pharmacist, it is our responsibility to look the negative and dark side of some of the very good medicines also. In this regard, pharmacovigilance and ADRs knowledge for the pharmacist find essential and pay values. At this celebration, I must not to forget a thank to respected, honored, beloved, respected Mira Madam. On behalf of KBIPER ISPOR, we extend our thanks for accepting our invitation in short notice, remain present from your busy schedule, and deliver such an expert knowledge, experience-based knowledge in pharmacovigilance. In feeling or philosophical, I think up to my memory, BJ Medical and pharmacovigilance is under the flagship of Mira Madam. Pharmacovigilance and BJ can be a synonymous of a Mira Madam.
Thank you so much. Thank you so
your
much.
Your contribution in pharmacovigilance is remarkable, and that's why your presence make the event memorable and at you and Mark. We extend our thanks on behalf of President, student chapter, secretary, bearers, and all the members. Please accept our token of love and regards. Once again, thank you very much, madam, and expecting the same blessings and knowledge will be in futures too. With this, forwarding thanks and regard. Thank you, madam.
Thank you. Anybody wants to ask me any questions? Please feel free. We have time. Do we have time?
Yes, madam. We are having 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah. Anybody wants to ask any question?
So anyone wanted to ask question, they can type at chat box, or otherwise they can raise their hand so we can unmute themselves so they can ask the questions. Anyone wanted to ask?
Do you have just a small question, Dr. Sandeep bhai?
Yes, madam.
You have pharmacovigilance in your course curriculum?
Yes, we are having. Yes, we are having a one chapter pharmacovigilance in 4th year of a PharmD. Subject name is clinical pharmacy.
Okay.
We do have in our curriculum.
Okay. So you have lectures?
Yes, we do have a lectures.
And do you have also some practicals, or do you give some projects on pharmacovigilance?
Yes, madam. The academic is in a such a way that fourth year syllabi is with theory, even some case-based learning. In 5th year, we are having a project specifically on ADR reporting. Yet so far, 3 to 4 projects in affiliating hospitals we have completed. From psychiatry department, from anti-tubercular medicine perspective point of view, in general medicines also, we do have completed some of the projects in the area of ADR reporting. Reporting goes to AMC, GMERS Medical College, AMC, GMERS PV department is also supporting
Gandhinagar.
us. Yes,
You submitted
Gandhinagar.
Gandhinagar. Okay.
Yes, Gandhinagar.
Sure.
Even we are inviting the experts from industries, case-based learning, how to look at the valid criteria, how to process the case, how to fill the form. Likewise, activities we are performing from academic perspective point of view, from co-curricular perspective point of view too.
Yeah. Good.
And
Good. Very nice.
in these regards, your suggestions are welcome, madam. So we can prepare our students well enough and
Sure.
advance in the area of PV.
Sure, definitely. Because I think the students nowadays, they have a bright future, and one of the profession the can be pharmacovigilance, because many of them will be absorbed as a pharmacovigilance associate or in the department. So I think this becomes very essential for MPharm as well as PharmD. So maybe when we have time and this pandemic is over, we can sit down and just we can go through your course, and then we can suggest. But it will be very interesting. Many of them, they are taking up there as a profession, as a career in pharmacovigilance. Many of the students nowadays, even MD pharmacology, many of them, they are taking pharmacovigilance as a career.
Yes, madam. True. Definitely, it is a promising area in which
Yes.
pharmacists are recruited well. Even the syllabi and exercises in design in such a way that student can think of pharmacovigilance in either CROs or in MNC.
Yes. Yes.
Even IPC, Indian Pharmacopoeia Commission, in different AMC has also announced a recruitment with educational qualification PharmD.
Yes.
So if appropriately prepared, conceptually clear candidate, if aspire, then definitely it's a promising career option with many more thought processes.
That's right. Fine. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you. Thank you.
Over to you, Nancy.
Thank you so much, sir. So, moving forward, with such wonderful participants awaiting the results of their performance in various events, the time is appropriate to redeem them from their curiosity. So, not wasting much of your time, we shall directly move towards the valedictory ceremony. So, total there was 3 events conducted as on the World Pharmacist Day: poster making, slogan making, and essay writing. So the first event, which was poster making, the topic for the poster was Pharmacy Always Trusted for Health. Participants were judged based on the creativity, presentation, and relevance of theme. So the winner for the poster making is Bansri Patel from 5th year PharmD KBIPER. Now, I would like Bansri to present her poster to everyone.
Yes, thank you, Nancy. A very good morning, all of you, one and all present here. Myself, Bansri Patel, a student of Pharmacology. I am here to present a poster presentation on celebration of World Pharmacist Day. The topic for the poster presentation is Pharmacist Always Trusted for Your Health. Abstract: pharmacist puts all the efforts to ensure the patient health. This expertise will apply through science and research, through educating the next generation, and through transforming a patient needs into the service. Pharmacists are a trusted source of knowledge and advice, not only for the patient, but also for the all healthcare professionals. For every patient working in a pharmacy, A pharmacist ensures that the right medicine is provided at a right dose and in most suitable formulation to the patient. Pharmacists work with other healthcare professionals and ensure that every individual receives the optimal treatment. Moreover, as one of the most accessible healthcare professionals globally, a pharmacist use their learning and knowledge to protect the health. These are the main working areas of a pharmacist in a community. That first, providing a primary and community healthcare to the patient. In that, pharmacists will work in a variety of public settings, including hospital, drug store, a retail store, a nursing home. These all are the opportunities and working area will provide a pharmacist to occupy a void related to the access to care and prevention. Then support and education. In that area, pharmacists will educate the young pharmacist graduate regarding the pharmacy practice and help them to be updated knowledge. Then helping healthcare. In that, pharmacists will support other healthcare professionals by providing information, by updating about regarding the drugs to healthcare professional. Then action and direction. Pharmacists will protect health and prevent illness. In that, pharmacists will organize community-based programs to spread awareness regarding the drug use to prevent the various disease. Then processing. A pharmacist, the main role of pharmacy is that to manufacturing the newer medicine with a lesser side effect and high efficacious rate with the latest technologies so as to lower the cost to minimize the economic burden on the users. Then research and innovation. Pharmacists will also involved in developing and innovating a new drug molecules and medical devices. Then distribution and dispensing. Pharmacists will ensure that right medicine at the right dose and the right time are dispensed to the patient to minimize and rational use of drugs. Enforcing laws and regulation. Pharmacists will regulate the monitoring, distribution, sales, import and export of medicines and medical devices by enforcing laws and duties. On the basis of above all the information which are discussing right now, we can conclude that pharmacist is a pharmacist will play an important and crucial role in bridging between healthcare professional and patient by providing patient education, information to the prescriber. Pharmacists have a core knowledge regarding medicines and their relative goods as well as bad effects. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bansri. It was indeed very creative and informative poster. Coming to the second event, which was slogan making. Here, the participant had to write and record slogan based on the current theme of Pharmacy Week celebration. And the winner is Shanti Patel from 5th year PharmD KBIPER. Now, I would like to request Shanti to put forward her slogan in front of everyone.
Thank you, Nancy. The slogan of mine was patient's medicine is our responsibility. So here I would like to elaborate my slogan that pharmacist as a member of healthcare team is more exposed towards the medications and patients. Pharmacist plays an important role in improving patients' quality of life by ensuring that the patient is given the right medication in right form and in the right strength and its adherence of the patient, minimizing the medication errors such as in the dispensing or in the labeling, and recommend the alternative therapies in cases of potential ADRs. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shanti. It was very powerful and effective slogan. Coming to the last event, which was essay writing, the topic for essay writing was pharmacy always trusted for health. Here, only original essays were considered for the competition. Previously published essays were therefore excluded. And the winner for the essay writing is Disha Patel from 4th year PharmD KBIPER. Now, I would like to invite Disha to present her essay in brief to everyone.
Good morning to one and all. Thank you, Nancy Didi. Myself, Disha Patel from PharmD 4th year. Uh, uh, I have honored to get the chance to speak on the World Pharmacist Day on the theme of pharmacy always trusted for your health. Pharmacist is a person which communicates between a patient and physician. Uh, it play an important role in patient counseling, patient education, awareness about disease, education physician about recent drugs, and many more. Pharmacists play an important role in patient care and well-being. Not only do quality pharmacists dispense prescription to the patient, but they also counsel them on get superior result. By maintaining a thoughtful relations and open communication with pharmacists, pharmacists are able to access their patient need. As everyone knows, trust in any profession is very important. Trust is a central part of all the human relationship and fundamental elements. Trust is also essential to healthcare. There are significant associations between trust in healthcare professional and health outcomes of the patient. Pharmacists have consistently been named among the top 5 most trusted professionals in the national survey. Nowadays, there are increasing number of people take pharmacy as their professional. As everyone knows, there are many practice area of pharmacists like community pharmacist, hospital pharmacist, industrial pharmacist, and academic pharmacist. On other ways, there are many specialities for in pharmacy. Pharmacy are the trusted source of knowledge and advice. For every patient who works in the pharmacist ensure to get the right medicine is provided to the right dose in the most suitable formulation. Working with other healthcare professionals, pharmacists ensure that every individual receive optimal treatment, protecting health and preventing illness. In recent situation like COVID-19, pharmacists play an important role in screening patients for COVID-19, verify misconceptions, accessible to healthcare professional, chronic medication renewal, monitor and manage chronic condition, minor elements consult, and Center for Disease and Prevention Control and monitoring for the drug treatment. Pharmacists give the best choice of drug according to the patient need.
So moving forward, I would like to request our Honorable Principal, Dr. Shrikant Deshpande sir, to present their vote of thanks.
Sir, unmute yourself. You are muted.
Hello. Now?
Now, sir, yes, you are
No,
audible.
the symbol was not showing. It's okay. Thank you. Thank you all the participant on the behalf of KB Institute of Pharmaceutical Education and Research. I first of all congratulate all our pharmacy students and faculty member on the occasion of the celebrations of World Pharmacist Day. First of all, I'm thankful to our respected Madam, Dr. Mira Madam, for very important topic discussion about the pharmacovigilance. National Pharmacovigilance Week is being celebrated on 17th and 23, and today we are having. Hello. Today we are having the World Pharmacist Day celebrations. So definitely as a healthcare team, active healthcare team with all the pharmacists, nurse, dentist, pharmacist, that is from the community pharmacist, retail pharmacist, students, and medical team. We all require to be very active, and for that we require to be know about what is pharmacovigilance, what is ADR, and what should be reported, what are the minimum requirement things. BJ Medical College is one of the very well-known centers, very reputed centers. So I'm thankful to Dr. Mira Madam for the kind presentations and due to some other occupancy, I was not in the lectures, but I know Dr. Mira Madam very senior. Madam is at present as an senior person as a dean in the medical college at Visnagar. So I know Madam from BJ Medical College Pharmacology department when she was the head of the department. As an active member in IPS Ahmedabad branch, I was the secretary. That times I was fortunate to work under Dr. Mira Madam as a secretary of the IPS Ahmedabad branch. So I had learned lots of from the madam. Madam is always positive, always active, always supporting with the pharmacy college on any activity. So thank you, madam. I'm also thankful to all the faculty members, the organizers, the student LOC members, and all the participants for the very wonderful event. No doubt it is the hectic. Even I was in the lecture in MPharm semester 3, so which I will also see it from the recording because this format of the our webinar, which has been also been recorded, so we can also read it, learn it, and whenever we require to repeat it. So our role that is related with the pharmacovigilance is also very important. Last year, not in this year only, in the semester 8, which is part of the new syllabus, we had also done the survey on pharmacovigilance in the community, medical store, and medical profession. Even one of the group in the herbal drugs which were paid, that was also been done by the survey. So this survey, we learn it that there are lots of things we can do it. Many of the concepts are there required to be clear it, and as an active citizen, on again active pharmacist and as an active member as an healthcare team, we require to be very active, and we should do it much thing. So again, congratulations to all. So thank you all the LOC members, all the participant, and again thank you to Dr. Mira madams and all the staffs who are the LOC members. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. It was indeed very helpful and motivational thought. Now moving forward, this is to inform all the participants that a feedback link is posted in the chat box. Kindly fill the link so that you can receive your e-certificates. Now we have reached the end of the valedictory function. I would like to thank our eminent faculty members, student committee members, and all my co-anchors, as with their immense support, we made this event a successful one. So this is Nancy Shukla signing off until we meet again yet at another event of KSV KBIPER ISPOR student chapter. Take care and have a wonderful year ahead. Thank you.